Hey, ¿qué pasa, mi gente? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Luis Lopez, and today I have three picks for you for the Monday night NFL slate. But before we do that, let's review some of the slips, some that I share and some of the picks that I share with you. And these are some of the slips that I came up with. I shared this slip as a parlay slip. Did not hit on parlay because I ended up taking a higher payout on Bijan Robinson's receiving yards. That did not cash, missed by 5 yards. But I played it on chalkboard and it cashed easily. Although this is a light play, this is only a quarter of a unit. The second week of the NFL, I'm playing everything really light. First series of the WNBA, I'm also playing it really light, but it hit, so I take the win. I also ended up putting in this slip right here, just a bunch of fumbles. 7 leg parlay, and they all hit, so that cashed. This one did not cash. Hunter Henry unfortunately stayed on the under. Christian went over. Gary went over. Mark Andrews stayed on the under. All three cash. Hunter Henry ruined this slip, and he also ruined a 6-leg parlay for me. Price pick. But again, I'm playing everything light, so I did not lose any units. I may increase my unit size as the NFL keeps going and we get more data. But right now, it's the NFL is pretty unpredictable. Okay, with that being said, let's go into the picks that I have for you for the slate. The Chargers are taking on the Raiders. This game only has a 3-point spread. I'm not sure why it's only a 3-point spread, but that's what Vegas says. And it has a 46.5 game total. I create for myself when I'm picking props for the NFL. I create game flows for myself. And in this game, I expect the Chargers to dominate the Raiders. They just went up against a really tough Chiefs team, and they ended up dominating them and beating them comfortably. So if I expect the Chargers to win comfortably, that means that they should be able to run the ball quite well, and that means they should score a good amount of points. So with that being said, this young man stood out to me, Quentin Johnston. Last week in a tough matchup against the Chiefs, he ends up getting 79 receiving yards on 7 targets and 5 receptions, 15.8 receiving yards per target. Now, when it comes to where he gets most of his targets, 43% in the slot, where the Raiders rank 28th, 57% wide, where the Raiders rank 30. So a fantastic matchup for Quentin Johnston. Players similar to him, Butte, ends up going for 103 receiving yards on 8 targets and 6 receptions. We don't need Quentin Johnston to go over to get 79 receiving yards. We don't need him to get 186 yards. We don't need him to get 103 yards. We just need him to go over 41.5 receiving yards. In this matchup, in a game that I expect the Chargers to dominate, a young man that gets 15.8 receiving yards per reception, he should be able to go over 41.5 receiving yards on 2 to 3 receptions. Okay, Quentin Johnston over 41.5 receiving yards is my first pick. The second pick that I have for you is, again, based on game flow, based on my expectation who's going to dominate this game. If the Chargers are going to dominate this game, that means the young Omarion Hampton, the running back, sole possession of the backfield, should get a good amount of opportunities. Last week in a tough matchup, he ends up getting 15 rushing attempts on 48 yards. Now he comes back to the West Coast, well rested. A soft matchup against the Raiders, a team that he should dominate, where he should get more than 3.2 yards per carry. He should easily go over 55.5 receiving yards. Again, second NFL game for Omarion Hampton in a game that the Chargers should dominate. He should easily go over 55.5 rushing yards. So that is my second pick for you. Now, if the Chargers are going to dominate, again, game flow. If the Chargers are going to dominate, that means the Raiders are going to have to throw a lot more. That means they will be rushing a lot less. And this young man, in a soft matchup last week against the Patriots, ends up going for only 38 yards on 19 rushing attempts, 2 yards per carry. Now he gets a really difficult matchup against the Chargers, who held Kareem Hunt to 16 yards, who held Pacheco to 25 yards. Ashton Jeanty line is 68.5 rushing yards. I don't see how he even gets close to this line. So a comfortable under 68.5 rushing yards on Ashton Jeanty. So those are my 3 picks for you. Look, regarding this game, I'll give you some leans to consider. Here, receiving yards. Dalton Schultz, consider his receiving yards on the over. He gets most of his receiving yards here in the slot area, 50%. They rank 31st. So this is where you're counting on most of his yards to come from. The backup tight end is not playing. So, and then last week, Pitts ends up getting 59 receiving yards against them. So it's just Schultz and Nico Collins there for all the targets. So Dalton Schultz over his receiving yards is a good look. Also, you can consider Nico Collins as well, but I would prefer Dalton Schultz on the over. And book it. Receiving yards. Yeah, Egbuka. His slot, 33%. They rank 29th. Y, 67%. They rank 22nd. Good matchup. And last week against the Falcons, 67 receiving yards on 6 targets and 4 receptions. So those are 2 to consider. My most comfortable picks are the first 3 that I gave you right here. Quentin Johnston over 41.5 receiving yards. Ashton Jeanty under his 68.5 rushing yards. And Omarion Hampton over 55.5 rushing yards. All right, my friends. That's all I have for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. God bless you and your family. Que Dios te bendiga y hasta la próxima. Best of luck. Ciao.